Deven, always a pleasure to welcome you on NDTV Profit. Looking at the current volatility and a little bit of directionless market, Deven, for the last few trading sessions, is the uncertainty on the global sphere really impacting our Indian markets? Though we have seen some FII, buying really come into the market.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, I believe that the market has basically been moving with a very narrow focus. Of last few weeks and months, if you noticed, I think some of the sectors which have participated in the market vis-a-vis the others who did not participate, they include metal, they include public sector banks, and they are largely driven by some policy changes from kind of developments which are happening within those sectors. For example, public sector banks are basically now driven under the tailwind of the consolidation exercise that the government is proposing to bring in, and wherein some of the larger public sector banks will probably invite the smaller ones to get folded into them. So that's a theme on which the market is getting a little bit more excited at this point of time. That's where no wonder they are buying the public sector banks portfolio. Metal, another story. On one side, the demand scenario is emerging very strong. On the other, both for white metal as well as for ferrous metal. And at the same time, the higher amount of input of electricity, which is renewable source, which is systematically bringing down the cost structure, improving the margin for the companies. So such themes are playing around in the market. Across the market, I think I agree with it that entire market is not moving. Only few themes are playing around. Like IT with a negative theme, which is right now, because of the AI-related attack which has happened on most of the IT companies. So
Yes.
such themes are playing in the marketplace. I agree that I think it is in a way, I think, a sideways market, but at the same time, it is full of opportunities, I must add.
So when you said, Deven, that it is full of opportunities, I want to catch you on that point. Where are you seeing the opportunities at these current levels for medium to long-term investment?
Yes, absolutely, Nisha. I think what probably you are observing out here,
Yes.
some of the large companies are sitting on the bank of opportunities. I think they are unfolding some of the larger programs. Say, for example, largest company Reliance. I think their amount of money that they are investing into the new generation of businesses, this particular opportunity is becoming a sizable opportunity for one to buy into, largely because of the fact that you are basically buying a business which is going to be a global scale business eventually. Similarly, I think you find some of the banks like SBI for that matter, or even some of the largest NBFCs like Bajaj Finance, who are actually driving the entire business on their size itself. Bajaj Finance, for one, I think has started employing the AI to the next level, which others are still not, I think, figuring it out. But they have employed AI to next level. Today, in last quarter, I think 10% of their AUM was funded, I think, through the client acquired through the AI mechanism that they built in. So, in my viewpoint, I think the things are looking quite different for some of the larger companies. So that's where I believe that opportunities are there with some of the large companies. And we believe that the theme of big is getting bigger is now actually playing out. The companies like Reliance, for example, which we discussed, I think 2 lakh crore EBITDA making business, I think is suggesting that next 4 years or so, they are basically going to double the size from 2 lakh to 4 lakh crores. Similarly, I think companies like Bajaj Finance, which you talked about, I think 25% compounding in the business. It is the size which is helping them to grow at this pace. I think vis-a-vis some of the small and mid-sized players who are struggling because they are not having adequate amount of ability to execute. These companies are executing well. So that is why I believe that I think the large big is getting bigger. And that's the opportunity that we see here.
That's a great theme that you mentioned, Deven, and you also expanded the AI conversation from only IT companies pivoting into the AI, thrust to bigger companies adopting with their deeper pockets and also bigs becoming bigger. So that's the opportunity we are looking at. Of course, Bajaj Finance has been known for its disclosures as well as the internal mechanism of data analytics, which they have been using, and the street has really rewarded them. On Reliance, when you mentioned, just last evening they have announced that they have formed a subsidiary level joint venture with Meta Platforms platforms under Reliance Intelligence for more AI thrust, and the sense is that they could be doing AI partnership with many companies. So yes, big becoming bigger also because of the deep pocket. But Deven, my question on the IT sector, even though we saw a huge amount of recovery, there was a huge knee-jerk reaction for several days of weakness. How do you see the Indian top 5 IT companies and the top 5 mid-IT companies pivoting into IT, into AI space, and whether it makes for any investment sense at the current moment?
Yes, absolutely. The great question. In fact, if you look at Indian IT companies, up till now, I think they have been employing their skills largely in the area of consulting and consulting-based assignment. I think where they would be doing coding and ultimately bringing down the production environment in form of softwares and then maintain it. So that is a typical model which Indian IT companies have been following. Now, the given situation of AI, I think consulting and post-consulting the coding, this part is assumed now with the AI kind of an application which today we are having. And most of the Indian IT companies are adapting to AI way of working so that I think they cut down the time to delivery of the software. And then ultimately, by employing agentic AI, they also maintain it so well. So they are cutting down that time. Now, this is one model which where I think they are transitioning. But the other model which the likes of TCS has started adopting and likes of Infosys has started adopting is an infrastructure model. Here they are putting across the data center for compute. And that is where probably I think they are now going into the asset based model as against I think the asset light model that they have been operating. So this is the second model which is probably emerging now, which is asset based model. The third model, which is expected to get evolved, and as I see it, a possibility, wherein likes of Infosys who have joined hands with Anthropic, they are basically trying to create the IP related solution, that is the product related solutions. Look at the world, how the world has evolved. Today, Google Alphabet would have products. I think on those products, they are generating the businesses. Similarly, there are many companies, even IT backbone of Amazon, product-based delivery of services. Indian IT companies haven't been having the products. And today, because of the onsurge of AI, Indian IT companies, because of the domain knowledge of last 30, 40 years, could
Yes.
possibly start bringing up the new products. So I think I'm really hopeful that transition is going to be a meaningful. Of course, nothing is going to be seen tomorrow, but I think
Yeah.
most of the companies are likely to bring a good amount of transition in the IT space as I see it.
And that may change the pecking order in future according to the capabilities that they build in this particular space. But very well explained the way IT collaboration is also taking place to pivot into the new space. Deven Choksey, always a pleasure to take your perspective on NDTV Profit. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you so much.